February 2021, Beaumont, Texas, a normal suburb. 3 bedrooms, 2 cars in the driveway, a generator in the garage that Gary bought back in October because Gary was the kind of guy who thought ahead. The storm hit on a Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, the power was gone. Temperature outside, 18 degrees. Gary's wife was worried about the kids. Gary had a plan. He wheeled the generator inside, into the kitchen, cracked a window about 2 inches, just enough to be safe. He'd read online that you need ventilation. 2 inches seemed like plenty. The generator hummed. The lights came back on. The space heater started warming the house. Gary poured himself a coffee and told his wife everything was under control. They found all 4 of them the next morning. Carbon monoxide doesn't smell like anything. It doesn't warn you. It doesn't give you time to reconsider. It simply fills the room while you're sleeping and makes sure you don't wake up. The medical examiner's report was clinical. Carbon monoxide poisoning secondary to indoor generator use. Gary wasn't careless. Gary wasn't stupid. Gary did exactly what most people would have done. He just didn't know the physics. And that's the whole problem. The gap between a logical decision and a fatal one is sometimes about 3 inches of a cracked window and a basic chemistry equation Gary never learned. I'm Max, and today on Outfox Apocalypse, we're going to talk about what actually kills people when the grid goes down. Not the storm, not the cold, not the darkness. The decisions that seem completely rational in the moment. I'm going to show you exactly what carbon monoxide does inside an enclosed space, why every generator-related safety measure people use is actually a coin flip with their lives, and then I'm going to give you the alternative. The thing that costs about $2, weighs almost nothing, and works because it obeys physics instead of fighting it. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some people survived Texas 2021 with almost no gear, and others died inside heated homes. Texas, February 2021. Winter Storm Uri. At its peak, 5 million homes without power. For 6 days, the official death toll, 246 people. The real death toll, according to BuzzFeed's epidemiological analysis of excess mortality, somewhere between 426 and 978. These are American suburbanites, people with houses, people with cars, people who thought they were prepared. 161 of those deaths, hypothermia and cold exposure. But here's the part nobody talks about in the mainstream coverage. At least 10 deaths confirmed from carbon monoxide poisoning. 300 additional CO poisoning hospitalizations. People who survived, but with heart damage, brain damage, permanent neurological effects. These weren't people doing something obviously stupid. These were people doing something that felt like the logical next step. And 3 weeks ago, January 2026, it happened again. Different storm, same story. Over 1 million homes without power across 20 states. Federal emergency declarations in state after state. The storm is gone. The lessons are the same. So, let's start with the chemistry, because this is what Gary needed to know. Your generator burns fossil fuel. Gasoline, propane, natural gas, doesn't matter. Combustion always produces carbon monoxide as a byproduct. Always. This isn't a defect. This isn't a safety issue that engineering can solve. It's basic chemistry. 1 atom of carbon plus 1 atom of oxygen equals CO. Every combustion engine, every candle, every flame produces it. The question is whether that CO has somewhere to go. In an open space, CO disperses. It rises. It mixes with outdoor air. It dilutes to harmless concentrations. Your car's exhaust pipe is designed to push CO backward, away from the cabin. Your fireplace has a chimney. There's a reason for all of this. In an enclosed space, CO doesn't go anywhere. It accumulates. Concentration builds. And here's where human biology becomes the problem. Your red blood cells use hemoglobin to carry oxygen. Hemoglobin binds to oxygen molecules and transports them through your bloodstream to your brain, heart, muscles. Every cell in your body depends on this process. Carbon monoxide binds to hemoglobin 240 times more effectively than oxygen. Not twice as effectively, not 10 times, 240 times. So when CO is present in the air you're breathing, it crowds out oxygen at the molecular level. Your blood cells pick up CO instead of O2. Your body's oxygen delivery system starts delivering poison. And the horrifying part is that you don't feel it happening. You feel a slight headache, maybe some dizziness, then you feel sleepy, then you're unconscious. At a CO concentration of 0.04%, which is 400 parts per million, you will lose consciousness within an hour. At 0.1%, it's minutes. A running generator can push a garage or kitchen to lethal concentrations in under 10 minutes. Gary's 2-inch crack in the window provided maybe 10% of the ventilation needed. Maybe less. The generator industry has known about this for 20 years. The Consumer Product Safety Commission has known about this for 20 years. In 2018, they allowed manufacturers to voluntarily install automatic shutoff switches that detect CO levels. Voluntary, industry-developed standards, not mandatory federal requirements. After Hurricane Ida in 2021, a family bought a brand new generator with one of these shutoff switches. The generator met the voluntary standards. All 3 of them died. The switch didn't activate fast enough in an enclosed space where concentrations built faster than the sensor could respond. The technology that was supposed to solve this didn't solve this. There is no safe way to run a generator inside your home. Not with 1 cracked window, not with 2 cracked windows, not with a fan. The only safe operation is outdoors, minimum 20 feet from any opening, with the exhaust pointed away from the structure. 20 feet. That's not just outside the door. That's across your driveway. That's not convenient. That's the physics. Now let's talk about what the people who survived Texas 2021 with no generator actually did, because there were tens of thousands of them. People who got through 6 days below freezing in their homes without power, without CO poisoning, without hypothermia. Some of them had expensive gear. Most of them had physics. The physics of staying warm without heat is really the physics of slowing heat loss. Your body generates heat. It generates about 80 watts at rest, which sounds like a lot until you understand how fast your house bleeds it away. Every wall, every window, every door crack is a path for heat to escape. Without a furnace running, your house reaches thermal equilibrium with the outside. It just takes longer than you think. In Texas in 2021, most homes lost about 2 to 4 degrees per hour once the heating stopped. So in 6 hours, you've gone from 70 degrees inside to 50-something. In 12 hours, you might be at 45. At that point, hypothermia becomes a real risk for anyone stationary, elderly, or medically compromised. The solution is not to heat the whole house. The solution is to stop heating the whole house and start heating a person. Here's what this looks like with $2 worth of materials most people already have. Step 1. Choose your space. Not your bedroom, not your living room, the smallest interior room you have. A bathroom, a closet, a hallway with doors on both sides. Smaller spaces retain body heat better because there's less air volume to warm. A small bathroom can be maintained by 2 people's body heat alone at temperatures down to about the low 30s outside. Your living room cannot. Step 2. Cardboard. Cardboard is one of the most effective insulating materials available for its cost and accessibility. The corrugated structure creates air channels. Trapped air is the actual insulator. You want multiple layers. Flat cardboard on the floor, minimum 6 layers, because the floor is pulling heat directly through conduction, and a single layer compresses under your weight and loses its air pockets. Cover the walls if you can. Cardboard on the windows. You're not decorating. You're creating a dead air barrier. Step 3. Mylar. Emergency blankets. The shiny ones that look like they belong in a space program. These run about $2 for a pack of 2 at any hardware store or Amazon. They work on the principle of infrared reflection. Your body constantly radiates heat outward in infrared. An ordinary blanket just traps some of that heat. A Mylar blanket reflects roughly 90% of your radiated heat back toward your body. Here's the critical thing most people get wrong. Mylar directly against skin doesn't work. You need an air gap between you and the Mylar. Wrap yourself in a regular blanket first, then the Mylar over that. The blanket traps warm air. The Mylar reflects infrared. You've just created a 2-layer thermal system for about $2 in materials. Step 4. Layers, not big blankets. 3 thin wool blankets trap more air than 1 thick blanket of the same total weight. Air is the insulator. You want multiple boundaries where warm air stops and gets trapped. Wool is the priority because wool maintains about 80% of its insulating value when wet. Cotton loses all of it. The difference between knowing this and not knowing it has determined who survives winter exposure incidents since before recorded history. Step 5. The group body heat equation. 2 people in a small insulated space generate twice the heat. In a closed bathroom with cardboard walls and Mylar wrap, 2 people can maintain a survivable microclimate at outdoor temperatures well below 0. This is not exotic survival technique. This is thermodynamics. It's the same reason we huddle instinctively. It's also why people who live alone are statistically more vulnerable in cold emergencies. If you're a prepper who lives alone, this specific variable needs to be in your plan. Now let me show you how this math actually played out in Texas 2021. A woman in Houston named Patricia, 63 years old, retired school teacher. Her neighborhood was without power for 5 days. She has a bad knee, can't move fast, lives alone. She told her story to a local news outlet afterward. She pulled her camping mat, all the cardboard from her recycling bin, and every blanket she owned into her interior bathroom. She kept the door closed. She wore everything she owned in layers. She had water in the bathtub, which she'd filled when she heard the storm was coming. She had canned food and a manual can opener. She had 2 emergency Mylar blankets she'd bought 3 years earlier at a dollar store and never thought about since. She was cold. She was uncomfortable. She came out of it fine. Her neighbor ran a gas grill on his covered porch to stay warm. He survived, but was hospitalized for CO exposure. His porch was enclosed enough that concentrations built. The difference between these 2 outcomes is not money. It's not gear. It's understanding which direction the physics points. If you want to keep your family safe when the grid goes down, subscribe. I cover the things other channels gloss over: the chemistry, the failure modes, the uncomfortable scenarios where expensive gear makes the wrong call, and $2 of Mylar makes the right one. Let me give you the survival algorithm for the next blackout, because it'll happen again. It happened in 2003. It happened in 2021. It happened in January of 2026. It'll happen again. First decision: do you have a generator? If yes, it operates outside only, minimum 20 feet from any opening. Extension cord runs inside. Generator stays out. This is not negotiable with physics. Second decision: identify your smallest interior room now, before the storm, before the power goes out, before you're making decisions in the dark with a flashlight. Third decision: get cardboard and Mylar in your house before you need them. Cardboard from any grocery store, free. Mylar blankets, $2 at hardware stores. Walmart, Amazon. 2 people need 2 Mylar blankets. Keep them with your batteries and your flashlight. Fourth decision: know your heat timeline. After power goes out, check your thermostat every 2 hours. When indoor temperature drops below 55, move to your small interior room. Don't wait until you're cold. Cold slows your thinking. Fifth decision: water first. Before you worry about heat, fill your bathtubs. Cold water pipes freeze, and frozen pipes burst. And burst pipes mean no water when you need it. This is Texas 2021 lesson number 1. hundreds of thousands of people had no water for an average of 52 hours. Bathtub water doesn't need to be clean. You're not drinking it, you're flushing toilets and staying functional. The people who made it through Uri weren't the ones with the best generators or the most gear. They were the ones who understood what they were actually fighting, not the cold. The cold is just physics. Cold has rules. Cold follows equations. If you know the equations, you can work with them. What kills people is the decision made in the dark with incomplete information. The generator brought inside because 20 feet is so far in the snow. The cracked window because that should be enough. The assumption that a comfortable house will stay comfortable if you just add a heat source. Gary wasn't careless. Gary was following his best logic with incomplete information. That's what this channel is for, giving you the complete information before the storm. Because afterward is too late. Always consult with local emergency management, FEMA, and your local fire department for official guidance on generator safety and winter preparedness. Their recommendations are your baseline. What I've given you today is the physics underneath those recommendations, so you understand why they exist and what happens when they're not followed. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Stay safe. Max out.